Well, hello, model car fans. Welcome to the Muscle Car Modeler. My name is Revell, and here we're getting started on my Revell 71 Boss 351 Mustangs here. You know, this particular kit, the newest one. And as you guys are following along, I've got a couple of them. And so I'm getting kind of started on them. And since you last saw them, I got the second kit out, got all the parts off of the sprues, and started the pre-assembly. So, you know, the motors have been glued together, heads put on, intakes put on, and just got some of the stuff ready. And then, like I said, seats are assembled and painted. Well, these ones are. Well, they all are really. But I haven't started any of the body work. So both bodies are ready, and I'll get them primed and I'll start moving on them and take care of some of the mold lines and see what we got here going on. But separated the body parts, they're in here. And I didn't paint any of the extra pieces on that, but I'm getting started here. So, like one of the things, here's one of the chassis. Now I'm going for the little bit over-restored red oxide primer underside, as most Mustangs were, and this piece is not glued in. It's just here for painting. So let me get it out here so you can kind of see what's going on. Now, in the real car, this is welded in place, which is why I'm painting it. But I had it off. I painted all the red on both sides and in there so that there's red on both sides. So I put it back together. I'm getting it ready. And so this is all just Tester's flat red paint, and I airbrushed it. And then I did the same thing to the underside of the chassis. So it's the same thing underside. So I make sure, because this is going to be somewhat visible, and did it. And I'm going to do the overspray on this one and the engine compartment. So while this one, we'll get to the interior here in a minute. This one is not sprayed, and since I did the black, but this one I'm going with the all black interior. So there's the underside of the chassis painted red, and then I did all of this in the semi-gloss black. So, but since this one is going to be my yellow car, and on the Mustangs, when they painted the stripes on the bottom here, that was mostly paint, other than the actual double stripe section that was a decal. So most of it was paint. So since it's done that way, I shot the semi-gloss black overspray, and I really should have some of the yellow body color overspray in here, but the tire is going to hide all of that anyway. So I may or may not do it, but you're probably really not going to see it. And I really don't want any of the yellow overspray getting on the rest of this. But I sprayed it real lightly. And I also turned the pressure on my airbrush down and shot, so you can see it got on the side a little bit on here on purpose, which is how the real cars were. But it blocked it from getting farther in there, which is why when I painted this, I painted this in place. So let me get this one off since it's not glued in either. So here we go. So you can see I shot it in place and then got the black on it where I wanted. And then the rest of it where I got in the control arms here, I pulled it back off and I airbrushed those carefully and made sure I got those covered and made sure I got in here really well too, and up in these areas so they can be visible. But right now it goes all together, and all of the overspray matches up where you can see there's still a little bit of red visible here. I did it in the firewall area. Just made sure to get the trans mount will be painted black with brush paint, because that is a separate part and it's black versus the red oxide of the sheet metal. And then the gas tank will get painted steel. But this one is shot and it's ready for more detail work and stuff. But I'm real happy with the results of this. And I'm going to do the same with this one. But it's going to get blue in the wheel well, because this is the one that's going to be blue. So I'm definitely going to make sure there's blue in the wheel well. And then it's going to have the silver all around these sides. So I'll shoot the blue in here first. Okay. And I'm going to black the whole front of this out just like this. But the sides is where the silver is going to show up. So all this is going to be black just like that when I shoot both sides of it. So that's the next step on that. And then I'll get the silver shot and oversprayed. But when I airbrush a lot of this at like 25 PSI. That's just kind of where I like to do it. But when I do the on this, when I spray that, I dropped it down to about 15 psi, so it didn't spray as far, and the paint had a minor splatter effect. So I did that on purpose here, so that's why it's a bit more textury as far as how it is. And it was real light passes. I didn't do multiple passes. Well, I did a few multiple passes, but not like this. This was the same paint, but pressure turned up. But it seemed to be a little bit thinner, so it came out a little bit more glossy black than semi-gloss black. And I may go over it again with some more, which is why it's still kind of mounted on the metal or the tape here, but I need to take it off and go through some of this stuff. Where this one's the other car, did all of that and some of the parts here, and then I flip them over onto this side and then paint them. So here's all of the black for this car, but I shot the white interior pieces and then I brush painted the black section here on both door panels and shot the seats white and the sun visors white because of the white interior, and it has a white headliner. The only thing that's kind of odd, I shot the white here and I shot the whole back section white, but I masked this off with Tamiya masking tape and cut it because on the real car, looking at reference photos, this section is white, this is black, but it's kind of odd because this whole section is white. And these two colors, they don't correspond. It's all black and then white. And there is an actual seam there on the real car. So Revell did a good job of putting the seam in the right spot. And then, so I colored that there, which if you're going all black, you don't have to worry about it. It's probably hidden real well from the window area and everything. So you may not even see it when it's built. I'm not really sure yet. So we will see. But since I want this blue car to have the white interior, that's what I'm going with on this one here. So it's coming out real nice and I'm real happy with this. So, and then while I was doing it, I did the pumpkins in the red oxide primer. And then, like you saw here, the motors are blue. So both motors are blue. Air cleaners are blue and the oil pan's done separately. This thing that's on the chassis is mostly blue, but the top is black. So I'll brush paint the black on that. Did both carburetors. Same thing with these washer bottles. They're black tops. And then, so I painted the sides the white, which is more of a cream off-white, which I actually just used my leftover scale finishes, which I used on the Ghostbusters 59 Cadillac, the ermine white. I had a little bit of that left. So that's the white I used on the oil filter, the bottle here, and the interior here. It's a base coat, but you spray it on really thick and it's a little bit glossy. Do it a little bit thinner, I got a little bit more texture and flatness out of it. These are shot with aluminum, the valve covers and everything. So those are shot with the aluminum and all the exhaust pipes, and then did the steel for the drive shafts, the leaf springs and all of this stuff, the exhaust manifolds, brake booster. And I'll detail paint some of these just to really bring them out. And I'm hoping they detail out really nicely and show up on this. So these are coming along quite nicely. Console's black. I got all this stuff. Like, it's kind of funny that that's a bit more flat and that's a bit more gloss. So I am gonna do another light coat of the black to dull this out a little bit because it's a little too glossy on some parts of it, except for the shocks. These shocks are supposed to be gloss black, so those I'm going to leave alone. And some of the other parts are a little bit more glossy. The springs should be glossy, but I'm going to hit some of this. The grill is just a little too shiny here. That's just a little too gloss black. So I need to hit that with a little bit of the dull. But you get some inconsistency with the Revell semi-gloss black. I've had some where it seems to just want to be more gloss black than semi-gloss black. And it seems like just the quality in the brush paints is not quite there, but it's coming along. So that's where this stuff is at. So I'm going to do some more airbrushing to that and get some of the chassis done and this. So we'll keep moving on this. And there'll be a few more updates, so I'll show you some more progress on this. So stay tuned. Well, I did get to work on them some more, and I got some more progress on them, but didn't quite get as far as I was hoping to. But such is life when you're enjoying everything, and this is a hobby. So I squeeze in when I can, but I had some other responsibilities and things that I had to do and enjoy, and took some of my modeling time away, but that's okay. I did get to spend some time cleaning the bodies, um, sanding and prepping them for primer. So I did get a layer of primer on the two bodies and did some sanding on there. So um, these are real nice bodies and very, very faint mold lines, which I really didn't do much sanding yet to those. And I'll get to them, clean them up just a little bit, but they're virtually ready for paint. So, there's just a few areas left to touch up, but these are ready mostly for color. So a little bit of areas that I can see now under these bright lights, but also shot some more of the semi-gloss black on some of the things and started prepping and playing with the interior. So really liking how this interior is looking. This is going to look sharp with the white and black in this Acapulco blue car. So really liking how that's coming, but I'm going to shoot some more of this, and then the inconsistency, like this is a bit shiny, but that's because I'm using testers semi-gloss black, and these are semi-gloss black according to the bottles. But this latest batch I got from Hobby Lobby, which you notice they're $269 now and not $199. But anyway, that's part of it. But I had those, but that's why this one is a bit more semi-gloss here. And I didn't get to that engine compartment because of it, and so I'll probably just miss the lighter coat. But this grill is just too shiny as far as that goes. But that's also why I didn't shoot the black portions on this, because I'll paint all the exterior parts that are the semi-gloss black when I paint the stripe parts on the body, so that there's some consistency there. And then at the same time, Hobby Nut Models, which huge thank you to them for providing both of these kits. He also sent me the MCW paint, and I realized he sent me the semi-gloss black enamel as well. So I'm going to give this a try and see how it compares to the shine on there. So that's going to be step 2. But this weekend I'm kind of done with it. I might be able to do some touch-ups and everything during the week, but we'll see how far this one gets. But I got these going, and then I did get a little bit of time. Wasn't the only one I worked on, so I did get some primer and some engine color on my 57 Cameo. So worked on that body just a little bit as well. So that one's kind of playing around, but in the background. But we'll continue on with these and everything. So again, thank you for tuning in, subscribing, and all your comments and that stuff. I really like that, and it really keeps me going. And hit that like and that bell button so you can see my latest uploads and everything. And thank you again. And you guys, you have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next Saturday.